guilty is.
She does not have spleen cancer.
It's when a person fakes an illness to gain sympathy or even attention.
You'd have to be an actual sociopath to do that, and I am not.
I don't care if I look petty. She can't keep lying, it's too dangerous.
So, you think she's lying?
No, I know it for a fact.
Hey folks, what's good? I'm not your Dr. Dietz, and today I'm here to tell you about something that for once isn't actually on YouTube. Well, sort of. We're going to talk about Apple Cider Vinegar, the new limited series on Netflix. It's a true story based on a lie.
What sort of person pretends to have brain cancer?
And no, you don't have to have already seen it for this video to apply to you, so stick around, just give me a chance. But before we dive in, I want to thank one of my viewers for recommending the series to me. Megan Enders left me a comment on one of my community posts. In case you were wondering if I'm listening, I am. So thank you, Megan. Also, just know I'm not going to be doing like a full reaction to each episode. This isn't a review. I won't be summarizing it. I'm not going to comment on the acting or even the pseudoscience of it all.
90% of oncologists would refuse chemotherapy when given the option. It's true, you can look it up on the internet.
Sure, Jan.
But I do think we should talk about it for other reasons.
She is a narcissist through and through.
As I said, even if you haven't seen it yet. I know my audience will understand why immediately. Oh, one more note. Today, I am not going to be naming any names outside of Belle's, but I couldn't help but notice some parallels and some familiar behavior.
Why are you doing this? Why are you being so mean to me?
I wanted you to take care of us.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm not lying. Okay? I told you.
All right.
So, let's talk about it, shall we? And hey, we've never done this before, so let's do it right, yeah? Join me on a cozy night in. The fire going, the rain tapping on the windows. My wife is on a business trip, so it's just you, me, and Mini Waffles on the couch for a night of watching way too many episodes of just one thing. Now, Minnie cuddle-tacked me and smashed her face into mine in a very painful but highly adorable way. Then we settled in. I hit play, cracked open a beverage, and opened my mind for whatever Apple Cider Vinegar had to offer. No joke, episode 1 had me doing a spit take within the first minute.
I'm not special.
2 million followers, come on.
2.3. No. My followers know that I don't judge. People like that. So they like me, instinctively.
You've been getting some threats.
I hope she dies from cancer. People have gotten confused. That's why I'm here to clean up those misconceptions.
Right, so you didn't lie or invent anything?
No. I wouldn't want a label, but you'd have to be an actual sociopath to do that, and I am not.
Let's keep going just a few more seconds.
I mean, I could do like 50 personality quizzes right now, and I am an empath every time.
So here was this woman, obviously in some sort of trouble. And she starts the whole series off by describing herself in that way. She doesn't lie. She's misunderstood. She's an empath.
I feel everything.
Sound familiar at all? And within seconds, Belle seems to be unable to tell the difference between reality and her own lies.
I helped.
She's so deep in her own false reality that it's kind of become real to her. And yes, in case you're wondering, I was vaguely familiar with Belle Gibson's true story before watching the series. It had been a while since I'd seen it, but I do remember hearing about her, I don't know, maybe a year ago. I can't remember whose video I watched, but I do remember it being here on YouTube. I knew she'd faked cancer and created some kind of wellness empire using her influencer status and misled actual cancer patients with her content about her journey to beat cancer. Who knows how many people that actually listened to her and took her advice and ultimately lost their own battles. The girls we tend to talk about here on this channel are way too, I don't know, lazy, I guess, to ever create an actual empire. I mean, they can't even sell merch, let alone build apps, write books, lead companies. Laziness aside, however, Belle's core personality traits definitely sounded familiar to me. There's this one scene in the first episode that really got me. Belle is sitting in front of her computer. She's posting in some forum. And she tells the people there for the very first time that she has cancer. And the reaction that people have, you know, that outpouring of sympathy, just the fact that people felt sorry for her. You know, she's sitting there and just basking in the glory of those comments. The way that the director and, I don't know, whoever it is that makes those decisions, decided to show her glowing as the comments literally just like envelop her. It feels like the perfect visual representation of how I imagine someone like her actually feels in moments like that. It's a scene that I think my viewers would appreciate for sure.
That entire sob story was just to make you feel bad for her.
The rest of the episode sets up the series with some other character development, and sure, there are definitely some more scenes that we could chat about in that whole episode. But I actually really loved how it ended. This was one of the last lines of the episode.
I tried really hard. Like, really, really hard for them to like me. And in the end, they never ever do. Bitch, I said what I said.
The similarities don't end there.
So, you think she's lying?
No, I know it for a fact.
Episode 2 also opened with a real banger of a quote. It opens with her ex-friend and employee talking to a couple of men in a busy office. We come to find out that they're journalists, and this ex-friend of Belle's is trying to get them to publish an article about who Belle really is. She goes on to describe Belle a bit, and she says, Belle doesn't have friends. She has hosts, and only if she decides you might be valuable, she'll find a way to attach herself. There are scenes of her crying uncontrollably. You know, her once friend offering a voiceover about how it's all just so calculated, that she's manipulating the people around her into feeling sorry for her, doing things for her. And she says,
You know, it's like she can see something in you that nobody else can see. A weakness.
And before you know it, you're bending over backwards to meet all her needs.
End of the day, she'll find 37 different ways to be both the hero and the victim.
Damn.
What if she's mentally unwell?
She's still lied. I mean, she's been lying for years.
And people believe her. You know, smart people become gullible people.
The people and the organizations that have enabled her, I mean, why didn't they care enough to check if she was legit? And why didn't I check? I mean, I'm not stupid or especially gullible, except that I am, clearly.
And the similarities just kept coming. Belle had a tough childhood and a very complicated relationship with her mother. Belle would manipulate her partners in different ways.
I need a peppermint tea and some snacks. Can you please?
There's one person that even describes her long-term partner as having something like Stockholm Syndrome. You know, he developed this coping mechanism as a sort of trauma response.
I love both of you.
Clive, are you hiding in the bathroom?
We also hear one story about how once she faked a heart attack when she was like, I don't know, 12 or 13 years old. And it was so convincing that they called an ambulance.
Sound familiar?
In another scene, Belle makes someone else's death about her, pulling focus from, what should have been a tender and meaningful moment for the surviving partner. She weaponizes her tears. You know what? She's even allergic to cats.
I'm allergic to cat fur.
Right? Since when?
Since always.
An unimportant, yet entertaining detail. Over time, the more money she makes and the larger her impact becomes, the more people are actually taking her advice. And because of it, there are now more and more people that start to really see her for who she is.
The pink balloons. She took that from my radical self-love. If I call her out, people would listen, right? I don't care if I look petty. She can't keep lying. It's too dangerous.
They start questioning her motives.
I found this. I took a screenshot. She used to write on my wall all the time.
And they even question her directly.
I am here tonight to ask you, do you have brain cancer?
How'd she react?
And when they question her, Belle just cries again.
A river of white girl tears.
She says people are being mean to her.
Why are you doing this? Why are you being so mean to me?
She deflects.
I heard her cancer's back.
No, actually it's not. Where did you hear that?
Have you two fallen out? I feel bad if it's my fault. Her follower numbers.
No, Miller's not insecure like
He
that.
says she's the most competitive person you've ever met. Remember in that little laneway bar where we drank a bucket of mojitos? You talked about her eating disorder in year 10. She was almost hospitalized because she had to be the thinnest.
Do you have brain cancer?
She doubles down.
You've met Dr. Phil.
Oh, for fuck's sake, are you serious?
And she starts to believe her own lies.
I've spent a lot of time in a lot of hospitals because I was diagnosed with a malignant brain tumor. I was given 6 weeks to live, 4 months tops.
Now, that being said, even with actual evidence, there are still people that can't be convinced of the truth.
Another source who knows a close personal friend came in off the street to say that Belle Gibson has faked her entire cancer diagnosis.
No, she hasn't. I've met her. She is sick.
I don't think so.
They're simply too blinded by Belle's love bombing to believe that she's anything but a cancer survivor, a hard-working CEO, and an inspiration.
Quite big opportunity has come up for me, and
Belle. Belle Gibson.
Hey, you should come to the launch.
Really?
Yeah,
I love that. That's... Thanks.
I love you.
And that is how I see the dynamic within GorlWorld. There are the people who see the truth, and there are some who refuse to believe it. And sure, it's not quite on the same level, but as I said earlier, I don't think it's a stretch to juxtapose Belle's story to the ones that we follow here. The only difference is laziness, ambition, drive. But it's all a game to them. A game in which they are the only one that matters. And anyone who doesn't support them is the enemy. And it's a game that turns out not to be a game at all. And it, in fact, has very, very real consequences.
This is a true story based on a lie. Based on truth that wasn't true.
These are the people that we follow, not because we like them, but because we're intrigued by their terrible and tragic behavior. We're watching a train wreck in slow motion and hopefully learning something we can apply to our own lives along the way. Or at least, that's what I'm doing here. Honestly, I just assume the same is true for my viewers. But it's important that we don't forget how thin that line of laziness really is. Right? Just like this series is, GorlWorld can be entertaining. You know, even playwrights would inject a tragedy with comedy or romance, adventure. But neither Apple Cider Vinegar nor GorlWorld are simply a screenplay. Both of them are truths based on a lie. Or rather, a great big bet of them.
Don't you know that you're toxic?
And that brings me to today's reminder. Today's reminder. A narcissist never truly wins in the end. Even if they think they're in the lead, eventually karma catches up.
I hate these people. They're the lawless the dirt.
If you wouldn't mind helping me out with the algorithm, give this video a like, share it, or leave a comment down below. I hope you'll subscribe as well. Now, if you'd like to support this channel even more than that, become a channel member. I'm actually going to be making a members-only video with some extended thoughts I have about one of the characters in Apple Cider Vinegar. Perhaps you'd like to join me in that conversation. And after that, I know I'm going to be watching that interview with Belle on 60 Minutes. I hear they really ripped into her. There might be a follow-up to this video. We'll see. All right. I will leave a couple of videos on screen if you would like to keep watching. And otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Belle Gibson has not been paid for the recreation of her story.